Hello. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. October 23rd, 23. Michael Jordan. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? Um, yeah. Hope everybody's doing well. Um, just so you know, I've just received this. This is what I'm using right now. Yeah, just got this guy today. Just literally got it this morning. And I don't know what the issue is today. I'm getting some crappy signal right now. Not sure why. It says the stream health is excellent, but I'm getting dropping frames at an alarming rate. Well, hopefully this technical problem won't last too long. Yikes. That's no fun. It's no fun. Anyway, I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. Hey, Ed, are you noticing that I'm dropping frames a lot? Because I feel like for some reason, I'm dropping a lot of frames on my end, and I'm not sure why. It's quite unfortunate, but anyway. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, because for some reason, I was having issues earlier this morning. It could just be my neighborhood right now. I really don't know. Hopefully it goes away. Um, yeah. Yeah, no, it seems like it was my end. Yeah. Hopefully it stays this way and I don't get booted off. It's been kind of stormy around here. Yeah. You know what? Honestly, something's definitely up with the audio today. Partly because um, I just got this morning, and I think I need to download the app for it. I'm using it right now. See this little guy right here? This little guy? It's my new microphone for these things. But I feel like I was noticing that it was a bit filtered sounding too when I was doing kind of like pre-stream stuff. Um, Let me see if I can add an audio. Yeah, let me see if I can add another audio device though, because I don't want everybody to be bummed out that here, I'm gonna switch over, see how this is. Kind of curious. It's kind of nice to A/B it too, right? So I'm gonna turn off this microphone, this guy here, and then see how you guys think it is compared to my MacBook Pro. Or not, it's not a MacBook Pro, I lied. It's a MacBook Air. So here's the audio from the microphone of the laptop. How do you guys like that? Is that better? Because I can just stick with this if this is better. Um, I'm easy. Um, but both seem to work, so that's good. But I think I need to download the app for this thing and take a look at the settings. I just got it though. I just got it, so I did a little. Okay, good. Well, that's good to know. But yeah, I need to download the app and actually mess around with this thing. But because I was using it, I was waiting to do the new video until I got it. Um, because I was doing like a lot of post production on the audio before. So this is kind of like was hoping that this would make my life a little easier for producing the videos. Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I mean, yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I mean, like I said, I'll mess around with this and see how it goes. But it's funny because I was recording it with QuickTime before as like a test, and it sounded okay to me, which is really strange. But maybe it's just like, because it's like a Bluetooth situation, maybe there's some extra filtering that goes on when yeah, maybe it like lowers the sample rate so that it decreases the latency or something like that. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, how are things going with you guys? Hope everything's going well. Hope everything's going well. Um, yeah, things are going pretty good over here. Um, yeah, I was waiting to. The Mac has a lot of top end. Okay, okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Yeah, I prefer top end personally. Um, or even just a mixture of the two. Maybe what I'll do I'm going to mess around with things on the audio side for sure. But I just want to improve the quality of the live streamed audio without shelling out a bunch of money for more stuff. And this was pretty inexpensive, so yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get it to work properly. I'll download the app, and if I can't get the audio quality to improve, I might return it. To be honest with you, but you know, $45, you can't really go wrong, and cool little. It's got like this cool little magnet on the back. See, and you just clip it onto your T-shirt. Uh, Going pretty good. Nice. Got some nice looking PCBs to try out. Want to see about soldering my microcontrollers for some of my projects and use a vacuum because my solder pump isn't the best. Yeah. Brian, that's very funny. Very funny. Yeah, uh so Ed, are you doing like desoldering, you mean? You're doing desoldering? Because I can show you what I have for desoldering. Actually, I don't have any of that right now, but I have one of these guys for desoldering. It's one of these. I've got one of these that I use sometimes. I have to say it's not the best. It's not the best. Um, I find that the sort of like a more manual method works the best. Um, I usually use like a solder sucker. I'll show you what I have. I have one of these guys here, which works really well. Just one of these. Um, yeah, I find these work really well, and also uh, like solder braid. I believe it's called solder braid. I think that's the actual name. But I use that with some flux on top, and it pulls all the solder right out really easily. I don't have any braid on me right now, but I can pull up a what do you call it? I can pull up a thing on the web on a website to show you. Amazon uh, solder. Oh, solder wick. That's what it's called. Sorry, solder wick. It's called solder wick, and it's basically just like yeah, yeah. Honestly, like I would do that and just get some flux. It's actually probably the most efficient way to do it. The solder vacuum things aren't that great. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Solder wick. I would do that. I prefer that method. I find it works the best. Um, yeah. And then just like crank the heat on your iron too.
That's what I usually do. I also have one of these too that I use for surface mount components, which is like a little heat gun, right? Essentially, like they call it a reflow station, but it's got like variable temperature, and you can set the exact temperature. This can also work for what do you call it? For through hole components too, but it's really good for um, yeah, for surface mount stuff. Gets super hot too. This thing goes up to like 500 degrees, I think. 500 degrees Celsius, I want to say, maybe. That's Fahrenheit? Fahrenheit, maybe? Fahrenheit. I can't remember. But yeah, it's really good. Um, but yeah, I would do that. I would definitely do that for sure. Anyway, yeah, so I was waiting for this microphone to come to start filming for the new video for the measurements and stuff. For the power supply. So I'm going to play around with this today after the live stream, see if I can get it working a little bit better. Um, yeah, see how that goes. And whoops, magnet's really strong. And yeah, so I'm going to get that video out next week. So that'll be really good. We'll start, you know, taking some measurements for the power supply, verify that it's working, yada, 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 yada. Um, yeah. And then after that, I'm not sure where we're going to go. Probably something to do with the DAC since I've been putting in my time working on that some more. Just tweaking and stuff. And then in between that, I've also been soldering, getting more boards done for the ESP32 sampler. Um, I think I'm going to, what do you call it? Assemble the rest of these guys. I'm going to assemble the rest of them and get them working. And then I'm going to, since I have the MIDI through working now, I can sync them all together, right? So yeah, I'm gonna do that and get like a 5 voice lo-fi sampler kind of thing. I think that'll be fun. And it'll be something that I can mess around with in the live streams so that I can actually make music uh, during the weekend live streams, which is something that I really want to do again. Um, so yeah, I've just been soldering all this stuff. I got more parts to order. Um, I have to order more buttons. I have to order more diodes. I went through all my diodes. Yeah, I've got to make some mods on the board. So, uh, oh, cool. Nice. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I should look at that too. Look, I'm frozen again, aren't I? Yeah, for some reason I'm not having the greatest day on the internet side of things. That's really cool though, Ed. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Um, yeah, that's great. Oh, weird. It's freezing on my end. Anyhow, um, so yeah, I'm gonna get more of the original ESP32s. I guess they're the Room 32s. To finish up all those samplers, so I'll have 5 of those running in sync. That's kind of my thought. So yeah, and then I'm going to yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing this week. Yeah, hopefully get that hoping to get that power supply video started either tomorrow or this weekend. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly. And since I'm using like a hardware MIDI connection, right? I can just say like, make one channel one, another channel two. I've got an idea for like a uh maybe doing some sort of like MIDI box with my one of my Unos, one of these guys, like with a 5-pin DIN connection, and some buttons I thought maybe I could do something, maybe like some sort of like generating MIDI thing. Um, that would be good to use one of these lower powered boards for. So that's something I'm thinking about doing that. And it could be something I could whip up pretty quickly, I think. Because I've got all these got these buttons here, these guys, right? That I could use. I don't know. We'll see. And then I could have samples on these samplers, and then like having sort of like generating MIDI information from from this going into one of these might be kind of neat. I don't know. Just riffing might be kind of fun. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on. Yeah, like I said, I got to get that next video started for the S3 to 1200. Um, yeah, and hopefully, I don't think there'll be too many. Um, this first. Sorry, let me back up a second. In my brain. I don't think there'll be too many more of these sort of like super segmented videos. Hopefully, I can whittle them down to like a three-part kind of thing. I really don't know. I'm still kind of toying with how the rest of this is going to unfold. But I like the pace so far. It feels like approachable for me on the video side and on the technical side of things in terms of building the circuits and stuff. So feeling good about it. Feeling good about it, but definitely excited to get those measurements. And I'll be adding a couple more capacitors to the breadboarded circuit next week. And then, yeah, hopefully it won't take us very long to get that done. Get the power supply finished and a PCB back here in the next, by mid-month, by mid-November, we'll be doing pretty good. So, um, yeah, and obviously the videos after this will probably be able to move a little bit quicker because I won't have to go into sort of like details and stuff. Um, I might be getting a bit ahead, but might be nice to have some kind of controller for the next project, maybe. Yeah, 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 agreed. Um, yeah, I would like to, whatever comes next, I think we need to figure out um, something that is going to be a little bit more interesting in terms of what people can do, right? And tinker with at home. The power supply is pretty snoozy. But you're right, Brian. Like we definitely need to figure that out, right? Like yeah, just something that people can play with at home and make it a little bit more exciting because it's not very exciting right now, unfortunately. Um, I was reluctant to start off with the power supply stuff, but I know how important a power supply is for these things, and yeah, I would just rather have a really solid supply, right? So, but yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And thank you, by the way, Brian, for bringing up the logo design and stuff. I think that'll be really fun, and hopefully, we get a bunch of different ideas in the Discord. I think that'd be really cool to have a bunch of different people, throwing ideas at the wall um, for that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool. Yeah, it was really neat. I think that for honestly, AI is great for that kind of stuff, right? It's like, especially like I don't have time to like dig into Photoshop and stuff like that, right? Or Illustrator or anything like that. I just don't have the time to do that kind of stuff. So, yeah, and I don't know anybody who does that kind of thing, right? So, yeah, it makes sense to me, like doing that kind of stuff with using whatever AI model you want to use or whatever. So, yeah. I did get the so I did get the I did get my what do you call it? My little preamp working. Whoa. Hey, where did I go? I got my little preamp working from the weekend. So this is the little preamp. Made a couple made a couple tweaks and made some nicer um some more elegant looking breadboarding stuff to make it work. I think the trim pots were not working the best, but yeah, I got it working. Very happy with it. I'll do a sound demo this weekend on the live stream, but I think I'm going to build one of these little preamps here for each of the ESP32 samplers, so I have a good, healthy line level signal going into this thing. And yeah, it worked out really well. It worked out really well. I added a couple other components for some filtering, and um, I added a capacitor at the emitter as well to help with the gain staging and stuff, or not the gain staging, but the gain. And yeah, just tweak some just a resistor value at the base. I was a little bit off. That's why I wasn't really working that well. And yeah, I also wired up like a little um, stereo 3.5 millimeter jack, a little bit more elegant as well. But I think I'm going to make a little, I'm going to use a toggle switch, and I'm going to um, toggle between like whether you want like a summed stereo device, like a headphone jack or whatever, or a mono if you have like a drum machine or whatever. So I'm going to add that to, I'm going to add like a little, I'm going to get like a little enclosure and just build like a little, sort of like a, almost like a little, be more of like a breakout box for um, this guy. So for five of them though, right? Because I'm building the other five PCBs that I have. Um, but yeah, I guess I could just quickly talk about the difference here. So the wiring's exactly the same. I've got my, I believe that's a 1K. I mean, where's my pointer? I got my 1K resistor at the emitter going to ground, and then I have a 100 microfarad capacitor also going to ground. So these two are in parallel at the emitter, right? Then I've got my base resistor, which I believe is, I want to say it's 100K. Did I say it? Is that what it is? 100K? One sec. Let me just take a quick peek. I think it's 100K, maybe. I can't tell by these precision resistors the color code or whatever. Just give me one sec. I never really. What is it? My base resistor is, yeah, it's 100K. So I was a little bit lower last time, so it actually wasn't turning on the or sorry, I was a bit yeah, I was a bit was I lower or higher? I can't remember. I think I was 470K last week. So the base wasn't even turning on, and that's why um yeah, I swapped that out. And then I've got my normal 4.7K at the collector, and this is just a capacitor that's blocking the DC component of the signal, right? So it's just another 100 microfarad capacitor. 10K pot, just like last week, wired up exactly the same, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I added a capacitor on the wiper um, of the potentiometer as well. That's just a, again, block DC component coming from the audio source. It's just, nice thing to do. Yeah, and that's about it. That's about it. So I'm going to multiply this by 5 and do that for each of the samplers. And then I'm going to also wire in a logarithmic pot to control the volume coming out of the sampler as well. So yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool. So I'll have 5 of the samplers set up with um, with everything working correctly. And yeah. So I should probably mention a couple other things that I found that I did with this sampler that is probably worth mentioning. Let me just see if I can show you guys. So one thing I noticed is that these labels are reversed. This when the jumper is across these first two pins here, it's actually the microphone, and the the ground sorry, and these two other pins are for the line. So these are should be reversed. So I'm going to make a little label um, uh, to switch these because that's not right. And then I also noticed, because I made a total bonehead move, but I was looking over my schematic because I was actually, um, when I was sampling from either the microphone or the line input, I noticed that I was getting both at the same time, no matter which way the jumper was. And what I realized was, for some reason, I had used offset on the microphone module when it doesn't. And so what was happening was I was pulling this to 1.65 volts, right? Which is the halfway point of 3.3, right? But I was also doing it to this at the same time. So no matter whether I was on the microphone or I was on the line in, I was getting both all the time. So, um, so this microphone module already has a built-in offset. So all I did was I cut the trace. Uh, you can kind of see where I scraped away and cut the trace at the 1.65 volts that was pulling this microphone module high. And yeah, now it works perfectly. So whether, I can pick now, I can choose between now um, uh, line in and mic in, and it works perfectly. And I've actually got a couple other ideas that I'm going to do with this sampler software wise, that I wanted to mention too, that I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but one of the things that I would like to be able to do is you know how, I don't know if you guys remember, but the way that I made the sampler was that it had like a recording threshold, right? So the idea is that when the sound crosses a certain threshold, it automatically starts recording. And the problem with that, obviously, is that it makes it hard to um, uh, so basically what sorry, let me so when you're switching between the mic and the line in, right? Um, uh, the level of the sound is slightly different, right? And so I want to be able to control the recording threshold depending on whether I'm using the line in or the mic. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm probably going to figure out a way that I can use this loop set button as a shift button, right? So maybe I'll do like a button combination that'll allow me to increase and decrease the recording threshold so I can change it depending on what source I'm using, right? So that's something that I'm thinking about, and I'm also would like to um, I would also like to do the exact same thing with MIDI channel, right? Because then I could change the channel of the device that it's accepting MIDI on the fly. So let's say I'll press the shift button and then press, I don't know, button 10 on the keypad, right? And then that would set it to MIDI channel 10. So that's kind of like a couple things that I'd like to incorporate into this that I think would make it a little bit easier to use. And Ed is at, and Brian says, I've been playing with those electronics for a long time, and those 5 band resistors still throw me. Yeah, same, same. It's not the like the beige ones are fine for me for sure, because that was the ones that I used in college predominantly. We didn't really use those precision resistors unless it was like a surface mount device. So yeah, the blue ones always throw me for a loop. Have you noticed if it's the mic that the audio is louder or the line in? Well, the nice thing is that it's way more balanced now, Ed. Before I used to have to like if I was sampling something off my laptop, for example, um, I noticed that I really had to crank the line. I really had to crank the signal, like clipping it from Ableton to even get it to register on this. So now with this preamp that I've built, right, I get a nice, really nice signal actually coming from the laptop into the line in at a really healthy volume. And the same goes for the microphone. So it's much more even now, which is fantastic. I'm very, very, very pleased with how that turned out. And like I said, I'm going to do a little demo on the weekend live stream, do an audio demo and hopefully I'll have I might do a quick PCB on my CNC for this guy and multiply it by 5. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to have time cuz my kid has a day off tomorrow from school. Gotcha. It's funny since my passive mixer, depending on what's plugged in, I would have to make sure the volume is blasting to hear something comfortably. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the problem with the passive stuff, right? Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, actually, you know what? I really got to stop saying things like that. I think I might do on these live streams because now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't know if I'm gonna have time to make a PCB for this mixer or for this preamp. So I should really stop doing that. But yeah, but that's the plan. That's the plan. But that's probably because my tiny one I assembled used 50K fit. Yeah, yeah, 10K is the way to go for sure. For sure. Yeah, 10K is definitely the way to go for volume stuff. And logarithmic. You make sure you get a logarithmic pot too, right? Instead of a linear pot. So yeah, I mean it depends on the type of device, right? You're using most pro level audio equipment should stick to a standard. Um, I want to say pro level audio is I don't want to say I think it's 2 volts peak to peak. Um, yes, that is A 10K versus B 10K. Yeah, I think B is linear and A is logarithmic, and you want logarithmic. So you want A, because the curve is more suited to how we actually perceive sound. So like when you're doing an audio signal, right? If you use a linear pot, think of this as like the curve that you would hear on, right? It's like perfectly straight like this, right? Whereas logarithmic, it's like this. So there's a curve to it. So it's actually closer to how we perceive sound. So that's why you should always, if especially when you're doing like volume stuff, it's always better to go with a logarithmic pot. And in some cases, I mean, logarithmic is better um, for certain parameters as well, right? So yeah. Um, but yeah, the audio level thing. Uh, yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly, and that's closer to how we perceive sound, right? We don't hear sound in a straight way, right? It's not straight. Um, I guess what do you call it? I guess it's is it. I forget how you describe the curve. Um, but yeah, it's more like there's more of a curve to it, like this. Is it exponential? Is that the right term? I can't remember. I can't remember now. It's been a minute since I've had to think about that stuff. But yeah, it's like that's a logarithmic curve. It's got more of a curve to it like this. And linear is parabolic. Thank you. Thank you. That's what it is. Linear is exponential, right? 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 I can't remember. Fuck. Whatever. Um, but yeah. Can you add an encoder? Right. Good point, Brian. Uh, I don't know if I have any pins left. I can't remember if I have any pins left on this thing. I'd have to take a look, but that's a good idea. Um, yeah, I don't know if I do. I don't know if I do. And I think without being able to kind of, yeah. No, you're right though. That could work though. But I mean, I'll look into it because that could work. I do have a little encoder module. And I do have space, right? I have space on this side that I could definitely like hack it into here. It's a good idea. That's a really good idea. And then I could just like be able to control it a little bit quicker, right? A little more on the fly. That's a really good idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah, I'll look into that for sure. I was actually looking into yeah, yeah. I mean, it's such a lo-fi sampler, right? So I don't want to spend too much time uh, tweaking it just because like the focus is really the S3-1200, right? I just want a little bit easier for me to use, uh, make it a little bit easier to do stuff like chopping samples or whatever. Not chopping samples, but you know, sampling stuff. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's just I think I tallied up how much it was going to cost me to populate the rest of the PCBs, and I think it's going to be about 200 bucks. So, but 200 bucks, and I got basically five more SK1s. It's not bad, considering they're going for about 100 bucks a piece. So you know, half price, not bad, not too shabby. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm really kicking myself that I didn't put a preamp for the line in on this thing to begin with. I feel like a bonehead for not testing it properly. But you know, these are the things you learn when you're developing stuff. You just assume that it's going to work properly, and yeah, I should have tested it more. It's my own stupid fault. But yeah, definitely not going to do that with the S3 1200. Yeah, yeah, right. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of the plan. But what are you guys thinking for the next thing for the S3 1200 after the power supply is done? What do you guys want to see? I'm kind of curious. Like, do you guys want to get into the do you want to do should we get into audio output? Like with the DAC, should we be trying to record some stuff? What do you guys think? I'm all ears. I'm all ears. Should we work on the IO module? Because we got a whole bunch of faders. We got a screen that we have to get in there. What are you guys thinking? I'm curious. Would love to hear what you guys have to say. But while you guys are thinking, let's I'll show you guys the you've got some DAC, okay? Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think audio output's the way to go. Um, I was actually chatting with a buddy of mine, and it was suggested to me that you know how we were playing with the original DAC, um, and the PCM 1681. Yeah, yeah, yeah. A buddy of mine suggested to me that I should try what if we tried doing both? So it could be like both a um sort of like the lo-fi sampler, but it could also be a hi-fi sampler as well. So you could use the PCM 1681 as your uh 8 channel output at, you know, super duper audio quality, blah 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 blah. Or you could have the original circuit, kind of the sample and hold stuff. That had me thinking a little bit. It had me thinking a little bit. I was seeing about that the other day. There's no module for that, is there? Or is it the IC? The what do you mean, Ed, by that? You mean like is there no module that you can have like a variable um sort of like selectable output? Oh, right. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, yes. Yeah, no, there isn't a module for it. But we could definitely make one. Um, right now I'm using like a little breakout board. So I bought this on its own, right? And then I bought the chip on its own. And so this is like a breadboard adapter that I'm using, right? So that I can actually wire it up and use it with the ESP32 without doing any extra like stuff, right? So we could do something like this. Yeah, yeah. We could do something like this that I think would work really well. It is a bit tricky to do um it is a bit tricky to do the soldering on this, but I think if you have enough flux, it should be pretty simple. Um but yeah, it's so much cheaper than the other chip, right? Because this other chip, um this guy here, the the original DAC, this guy, so much more expensive. This cost me 50 bucks Canadian. So I don't know what that is in terms of in the UK, or I know in the States they're probably a little bit cheaper, but it's not cheap. But I think it could be cool if we could somehow figure out a way to do them both. I think that would be really neat. And maybe there's like a internal jumper that you could select between the two. I don't know. I'm just throwing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe there's a way to do both. I don't know. We gotta still fiddling around, still fiddling around. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Um, and I mean, Brian had the homemade DAC working pretty well too, right? Um, with some precision resistors, right? With the sample and hold circuit, right? So there's that too. So there's a lot of different options we could try for sure. Uh Parallel input. Um I believe Parallel input as in, 1 second. Yeah, it's an R2R. It's an R2R DAC, right? It's a little bit different than um, it's a little bit different in the configuration. Let me pull up the data sheet. Uh, than a R2R DAC. Let me show you. Here it is right here. So let me just turn off that screen capture. Let me move myself out of the way here. So this is our original buddy here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. So that's the functional block diagram of the actual DAC. So this is like basically what you were doing, right, Brian? Essentially, except it's got this R feedback, which I'm not. I understand how to hook it up, but I don't really get what it's supposed to do. But it's integral to the operation. I'm still kind of going through this um, data sheet. Just trying to get a handle on the theoretical side of this thing. Um, but yeah, and the one thing that I didn't like about it was um, the specifications indicate. Right. Yeah, yeah. Here, let me show you one thing I didn't quite care for about this module was that, let me just move myself down here, is that it suggests 15 volts to power this thing. Okay. But you can run it at a lower voltage. Um, it's just like uh, it doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, it, uh, it doesn't um fuck, why can I not find the words? The accuracy isn't guaranteed, essentially. um yeah, it doesn't tell you like a minimum voltage, I don't think, on this data sheet. But yeah, it's sort of like don't go above 17. Let me just take a look here, see if I can find them, if there's another minimum volt, if there's a voltage range. But I remember I was stuck on that part of it, that it was plus 15 volts. And I remember I might have asked Chat GPT or whatever, and it said that I could power it with plus 12 volts, but the um, accuracy might be off. But I can't remember. There was a caveat to that I can't quite remember what it said, and I didn't save the conversation with it. Um, yeah, I need to start writing some of this shit down when I do that. Yeah. But yeah. So, anyways, um, still worth thinking about doing that. But I also like the idea of just doing those precision resistors. Yeah, you're right though about the amount of pins that it needs. It does kind of suck in terms of pins, and it would just mean that we're going to need another microcontroller, right? Um, yeah. Oh, did it say that, Russ? Thanks for pointing that out. Is it 5 to 16? Did you see that on the actual data sheet? Did I zoom by that? Bottom of page 3. Thank you. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Oh, there it is right there. Thank you. Thank you. That's fantastic. Thank you. Accuracy is not guaranteed over this range. Okay, okay. Thank you, Russ. Thank you. I didn't see that. That's fantastic. Okay, cool. Well, then we should be good then. We should be good. We should be good. So that's good. I think we could definitely be in a situation where we could fiddle with both, right? And maybe even um yeah, maybe even utilize both in the sampler. I think that would be really cool. To be able to toggle between the two, be crazy. Be crazy. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think you guys are right though. I think we need to tackle um next thing we need to do after the power supply is all finished is tackle some sort of get an ESP32, um, get one of the S3s on the breadboard, hooked up to a DAC of some description, and start getting some audio output. I think that's the way to go. I really do. I think you guys are right. Um, yeah, I appreciate that. Man, I can't believe I didn't see that power supply thing. That's very funny. Thank you. Really appreciate that. But yeah, so I think that's where we're at. That's where we're going to be. Is after the power supply, we'll jump into the DAC. So, anyways, anything else anybody wants to talk about today? Is there anything else on anybody's mind about the S3 1200 or any other projects that are going on, or you have anything to share? Happy to talk about that stuff. Yeah. Oh, I did. You guys will be happy to know that I did remove my little felt feet off the bottom of this one, because I think I'm going to maybe make just like a little box that it'll kind of like rest in and just kind of like live in some sort of like not an enclosure, but sort of just like a half thing, so I can have it lay flat on the desk. But yeah, can you see that eBay link? No. What did you look up, Brian? If you let me know, I can pull up eBay. What you look up a part? I don't think you can share links in the chat. I think that's one of the YouTube rules. Let me just pull up eBay. Brian, let me know what you searched, and I'll see if I can find it. All right. Let's see. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's on an adapter board. Okay, cool. Let's see. PCM 1681. Let's just see what comes up. Okay, there's the chip. Is adapter board in the title? Oh, look at that. Look at that. 17 bucks. This guy. Was this the one you were looking at? Cool. That could be very useful for people. Something like that. I mean, that's essentially what I did here, but it could be yeah, that's great, Brian. Thank you. That's fantastic because if you're not great at soldering, this can be a struggle, right? If you're not used to the kind of like small pins and stuff. But that's great. Okay, cool. I really wish it had like a development board, but I think it does, but it's quite expensive from what I remember. But like the chips are so cheap, you know? Um, because I think I paid like $4 for the just the IC, not even, and it's like super high quality output, right? But yeah, that looks great. I'll definitely save this. Let's see here. Where are we? I'm definitely going to save this. More than 10 available. Like, that's great. Let me see. Let's do this. I'm just going to save it in a text file. Um, PCM 1681 breakout board. And I'll keep this on hand um, for when I update when I update Patreon with some parts for the next part of the project after the power supply. So let's do that. Um, oh, not 404, do I? What did I say? Uh, DAC parts. Perfect. I wonder what while we're here, why don't we just take a look and see if we can find a cheaper one of the original ones too? AD 7541. Oh, look at this. Look at this. $15.81. $11.30 American for two. Estimated delivery between Tuesday, November 25th and January 5th. But still, guys, you could definitely, if we do decide to go that route of the original, don't be a chump like me and overpay. One of these, I'm sure, is perfectly fine. Like, you can find them way cheaper. Is the shipping insane? Was it? I didn't even see what the shipping was. The shipping to Canada might be crazy. Oh, that's because it's economy shipping? Is that the deal? $35 for shipping. The shipping is insane on which module, Ed? On the ones that I was just looking at, the AD 7541 or the PCM board. Is the shipping insane on these? They don't seem. It doesn't seem too bad. What's eBay Speed Pack? Okay, this one comes a lot faster. That's next week, isn't it? Almost 2 weeks anyway. That's not bad. But look, there's tons of these things. Real garden variety. But yeah, I think there's ways that we could definitely do this a lot cheaper, um, or at least like have some cheaper options. Yeah, it was January. Look, if you look here, delivery estimated between November 25th and January 5th. January 5th. That's wild, man. That's wild. I guess the one thing is like sometimes when you're ordering from eBay, you don't really know what you're getting. I think Ed and I have talked about this before, but there's like horror stories of like people just getting ICs and they basically just like sand off the label and stick a different label on it. So yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful, I guess. But I mean, when you're saving that much dough, though, it's kind of hard not to try. You know what I mean? So anyway, but let's see if there's while I'm here. I just want to see if there's any of my VIC 20 chips, my 6560 available. Here we go, $73. That's PAL though too, right? This one's been up here for a while. Um, oh, look at this one from the States. Yeah, 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 exactly. $100, $100 plus $30 shipping for this one. This is for my VIC 20, right? For getting the sound to work. $70 US. So that's like way more. Yes. Yep. 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 Definitely, Brian. Yep. Yep. I mean, the one thing is, right, we'll have our power supply um finished, right? For when we're doing that part of the project. So we just have to tie the grounds together, right? So that should be okay. But yeah, you could do it that way too, right? You could also um do the jumper, which I believe on mine is on the back. I think it's on the back. Uh, yeah, I think it's on the back. I can't remember. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, yeah, cool. But yeah, I want to get this for like, it's funny because like a couple years ago, I guess these were super cheap still. So it's really frustrating how expensive they are. Um, but yeah, like $97 Canadian plus $30 shipping is way more than I want to spend on this VIC 20. So I don't know. I'm gonna hold off still. I feel like one day I'm just gonna find a VIC 20 super cheap, and then hopefully it just like is completely demolished or something, and it just happens to have this in there and it'll work. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, just while we're here. But if anybody comes across a 6560 chip that's reasonably priced, that's below, if that's like maybe $50, let me know. Um, or if you have an extra one kicking around somewhere, that would be great because I'm really looking for one. I really want to get that VIC 20 working still. And yeah. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention to you guys that I'm getting, not getting, but I talked to that musician friend of mine, uh, the band guy, and I guess he's dropping off a whole bunch of stuff soon for me to fix for him. So we'll be doing that soon too, which is really exciting. There's going to be a lot of different stuff in that. It's a real mixed bag of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. I really am. And I believe he's paying me with old gear that's broken that I'm going to keep and probably fix and flip. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun little project. $65. Really? Let's take a look. Thanks, Russ. Appreciate it, buddy. Let's go to AliExpress. Check it out. Let's see. Oh, not '06. 65 60. Oh, there it is. 55 bucks, eh? I wonder if it's um I wonder if it would it in China, does anybody know, um would it be PAL or would it be NTSC? Does anybody know offhand? I'm thinking that I believe NTSC is North American, right? So, what are the chances are that this is PAL? Probably pretty high, right? Specifications. I guess can you message people on AliExpress? I mean, I'm sure you'll just say that it's, or they'll just say, like it's. Oh, is that right? Oh, maybe you're right, Brian. That's a really good point. That you might be right. But remember over here, this one in Germany says that it's a 6560 and it's PAL. But maybe you're right. I'll take a look. I'll look into it a little bit more, but that's really great though. 55 bucks is way more in my price range. You know, like that's way better. Okay, thanks, Russ. Appreciate it. That's great. Awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll get one of these then. That's great. 55 bucks is like a billion times better than what I wanted. Yeah, that's so much cheaper than what I wanted to pay. Or that than like the other methods that I was going to go about acquiring this chip. That's fantastic. Hopefully it's legit. I would imagine that it would be. I mean, how many people are you going to rip off looking for a 6560? You know what I mean? Here's one that's 136. Yeah. Hmm. Cool. Nice. Yeah. I'm going to bookmark that guy. Sweet. Yeah, that would be great. I would love to get that thing running. Well, running better than it has been. I just want the sound to work, right? That's all I want. With the sound dead on it, it's a real drag. And I mean, I guess worst case scenario is um yeah, worst case scenario, I throw away 50 bucks, I guess. Or worst case scenario is I have a lot of parts for more broken VIC-20s if it's something else. But yeah, nice. This is great. Fantastic. Fantastic. Anyways, yeah, that's awesome. Great. Well, anyways, guys, thanks again for coming out today. Appreciate it. Glad to see Ed and Brian and Russ out. It's awesome. Glad you guys could make it. Um, yeah. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll be online probably Saturday or Sunday night. We'll do a sound demo of the preamp circuit working, and yeah, it'll be good. We'll get that going, and then what else? I'll be start filming the next power supply video this week. Probably tomorrow I'll do a little bit of filming, um, and hopefully get a big chunk of it done tomorrow. And then, yeah, we're gonna be doing a PCB soon for the power supply as well. So, well, the next video is going to be taking measurements and verifying that the power supply is working correctly. And then the following video after that will be our PCB. Um, and I'm working on a deal for everyone for that. So that'll be really good. Um, yeah, yeah. So that's good. And then, yeah, we'll start after the power supply video is after the power supply is finished. We'll start looking at the DAC, getting a board made that we can sort of like test or no, breadboarding, breadboarding and coding the S3 to do our audio outputs, right? Audio outputs. The other thing, what do you call it? Audio outputs and like if we do any sample and hold stuff or whatever. Yeah. Probably some buttons too, maybe buttons or pots or something. I don't know. Um, SD card we have to look at as well, right? Um, so yeah, yeah. I guess that's the one thing about using multiple DACs, right? Is we have to realize is that is um, we have to keep that in mind. Is the audio the sample rate that we're going to be recording at, right? And storing our samples. So that's something we need to be mindful of. But that's a later problem. But anyways, thanks again, guys, for coming. I'm gonna take off. I gotta fiddle around with this microphone and hopefully get it working properly. If not, I'll be sending her back and trying something else. But anyways, thanks again, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Um, yeah, have a great weekend, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys on the weekend. Okay, cool. Take it easy, guys, and see you soon.